Southmoore Norman edition of the High School Huddle. I'm Ryan Aber, joined by Justin Harper. And Justin, a big week for Southmoore last week in a scrimmage. Kendall Thompson threw for over 300 yards. OU commit Julian Wilson had 2 touches for average of 45 yards each, both touchdowns. But this is a team that didn't have their full complement of players, and yet they go this week to Tulsa Union.
Right. And they're so excited to go play this game because as good as they looked last week, they had some major weapons of theirs out. I mean, Keon Thompson, who's their starting running back, he set out with a little bit of a pulled hamstring, and a couple of the move-ins that are just getting some final details done, I guess you could say. Nico Simmons and Austin Haywood, and those are all not only starters but possible Division I recruit starters. So the way they played last week without their best players has them really sky high. Not to mention this summer they played Tulsa Union in a passing camp and made it to the championship against them. So yeah, as good as they looked last week compared to going against the defending state champions, Southmoore couldn't be in better position this week.
And obviously we think Southmoore is going to be pretty good, especially for a second-year team. But how much can we learn about this team this week going against a team like Tulsa Union?
Well, one thing you've already learned before they even step foot up there is whether they're actually this good or not, their confidence is that they've leapfrogged from a 2-win team to up to the level of Tulsa Union. And at this point, really, that's about the most important thing they could do. They think that because of the way they played them this summer and the way they played BA last week at the scrimmage, too. I mean, BA is the biggest school in the state, and Southmoore just went out there and acted like they thought they were, Del City or someone. They didn't show any type of disrespect, but they sure weren't in awe of them at all. And they're going to be the same way with Tulsa Union. So this will tell a lot depending on how much Union gets into it. A lot of people think that in the summer scrimmages at the passing camp that Tulsa Union was just out there going through the motions and stuff. That's not going to be the case this time. So it'll go a long way towards showing what Southmoore's made of.
And 2 years ago, Norman North was a team in a similar position, a lot of upcoming stars. Those stars are now moved on, including Bo Blankenship, the running back, is off to Iowa State. How are the Timberwolves replacing him?
Well, that's interesting because Chris Riley, who has been waiting in the wings for 2 years, everyone's been expecting him to explode. Not to say he won't, but he's not even going to be the starter. I mean, 2 years ago against Muskogee, who was ranked second at the time, he rips off 200 yards in a game in a backup role. Since that day, everyone's been waiting. And last year he averaged 7.8 yards a carry. And yet, Jamar Harrison, Ray Denby, they just have this, and even Nick Canavan, the star linebacker, are all running in the backfield. And they have so much talent there that Norman North is experimenting. Well, they're not experimenting. They're actually going to implement a 2-back set a lot of times, which they never did with Blankenship. So you're going to see a lot of different runners, and they're not going to just replace him with one person. But right now the surprise is that Jamar Harrison has sort of leapfrogged past Chris Riley, and he's looking really good, really strong.
All right, Justin, well, we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you joining us. And join us every day at newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage in the state, and next week for the High School Huddle.